The following is a conversation with Pinkal Panchal for Brown Voices.
Hi, thanks for being here, Pinkle.
Hi, Punita. How are you? Good morning.
I'm good. For everyone who's joining us, I'm Punita Rice. I'm the writer-researcher behind Brown Voices, South Asian American Experiences in Schools, re-releasing October 2026. I'm here with Pinkal Panchal, an associate marriage and family therapist who is an LA-based relationship therapist helping modern love thrive in traditional and or multi-generational family systems. Her work helps people name the hidden protection patterns that shape how they love, fight, stay, and heal. Pinkal and my work overlap. I am examining student experiences in schools. She's working with adults and children and everything in between, and has boots on the ground insights into the struggles of our community. Pinkal, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Punita. This is great. Yeah, I love our community.
So my work examines some of the struggles that South Asian American kids face in schools. Your experience working with kids, struggling on the emotional side of things can really help bridge that understanding of what's going on in school and what's going on when they come into your office. So what are some of the things that you're seeing that might be reflected in my work too?
Absolutely. I think one of the things I'm seeing a lot in my therapy session is pressure. There's so much of pressure within South Asian kids, and I sometimes feel like, leave them alone. I just want to tell the parents, leave them alone. It's okay. They're doing great. But I think it's all about the whole idea of you just cannot be dumb. Yeah, you can be dumb. Like, you have to do great in school. You have to do great in math. You have to do great in science. You have to be either a doctor or an engineer. You don't have any other choice, because if you deviate or if you do something else, then basically you won't excel. I don't know if you've noticed that.
A lot of the research definitely shows that South Asian kids experience that exact pressure, whether it's from their parents. Even teachers are expecting fall in line and end up in a STEM career, whether that's what they're interested in or not.
And not just in terms of academia, but also in terms of there's this element of acculturation, and I think mostly from an immigrant kid's point of view, who have parents who have roots from India and all of that, and they're shying away from their culture. They don't want to wear Indian clothes. They don't want to eat Indian food. They don't want to be called out in school. And the parents are like, no, like, this is our culture. You have to do this. This is what you have to, embrace. Like, you should be proud of it. And at the end of the day, the kids are suffering. The kids are the one who come to the therapy room. Is like, why just us? Like, why do I have to eat that stinky food? They use the word, the stinky food.
So where's that coming from? Obviously, their parents aren't the ones telling them this food is stinky, right? The food's delicious. Oh my God, the food is so delicious.
Like, the parents are not saying that the food is stinky. So where is it coming from?
Yeah. Who's giving them that sense that assimilation is the only option?
I think it's about the kids, the other kids. The other day we were all hanging out, and somehow I think there were 14, 15-year-old girls, Indian girls, second generation Indian girls, and we asked them, like, okay, do you have a boyfriend? And there's like, no, we don't, but we don't want to get married to Indian boys. I'm like, why? It's like, Indian boy, they're Indians, and they look ugly. There's so many dynamics, and when I start talking to them, I hear there is this inherent hatred for their own community. That's what kids are developing, and I think it is because of the label.
So they're feeling othered in school. It's causing them to have disdain for their own culture, their own ethnicity, the way that they're perceived.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. And I think how do we, as a community, talk to our kids or talk to our people that, you know what, we do not need to shy away from it. We have our roots, and it's culturally very, very, very strong. I don't know if you've ever experienced, like, I did not grow up here, but have you experienced all of this in school while growing up?
God, for sure. Like, in my own experience, absolutely. There was definitely a sense of feeling othered, feeling like an outsider. I think one of the ameliorating factors is definitely the demographic breakdown is Desi. I've been very fortunate. I grew up in Maryland, and I grew up primarily going to schools that had pretty diverse student populations. So I never felt so othered. Well, I did when I was really young, when we lived in Baltimore City. But once I was in suburban Maryland public schools, I never felt othered to the extent that people didn't even know what I was, or they were just like repulsed by my people or anything like that. But you've, I'm sure, encountered this with clients. There's always this sense of, well, what are you? Like, oh, I'm South Asian and I'm American. Okay, but like, where are you from? I'm
Yeah,
from Maryland. But like,
yeah.
where are you really from? Like, what do you want from me? You know?
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes. I'm like people do. For example, I mean, you have an accent. I don't. So people immediately relate me that probably I'm from India. Like even yesterday, I'm in Vegas. I was in an elevator, and they were like, "Okay, where you from?" And I'm like, "From Los Angeles." But like, but where are you originally? Are you Indian? Are you Pakistani? Are you Bangladesh? And I'm like, "No, I'm Indian." And they're like, "Okay, we're from India." And I'm like, "Okay, do you know where the prime minister is from?" I'm from that part. And they go, "Oh, well, I love so and so part of India." I'm like, "Great." And then
yeah.
the curry is so good. So I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay." But then we are called out for that curry because it stinks.
Yeah. So there is like definitely, I mean, now we're talking about societal level, not so much just in schools, but there is so much like people want to claim cultural appreciation when it comes to like eating something delicious. But at the same time, kids who grow up being made fun of for like, oh, your arms are hairy. Oh, you have a dot on your forehead. Oh, your food is stinky because you're in the lunchroom. Like, this is what appeals to me about your culture that I'm going to borrow versus here is the stuff that I'm going to use to make you feel like an outsider. And it sucks for kids, right? As adults, we can still navigate that. But kids going to school, it's hard for them.
I think these are the kids who are my patients, and when they come, they feel so lonely, and then eventually they just connect to their own people. Like, let's just stick around with brown people because at least our problems are same, our struggles are similar. At least we understand each other. We understand from parents' perspective. I think that is also another thing, Punita. There is a lot of parents who like their kids to stick around with Indian kids.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about that. I think that is, in my opinion, I don't think that is a right way to, put down any other culture because you are not letting them explore, learn, get bullied, or fight their own struggles and make their space in it. I think we, as South Asians, I think we feel like we have this inherent strength to fight, tolerate, and move forward.
Yeah, it's a tightrope walk because I don't want to advise what other parents should do. Being a parent myself, I know that it's always harder in practice what your kid's actually going through. The research that informs the book Brown Voices, South Asian American Experiences in Schools, it was conducted through Johns Hopkins. There was one particular research participant, I use pseudonyms, fake name, Pooja,
Okay.
was a research participant who self-identified as Indian American, Hindu, and Punjabi. And she described racism she experienced from peers. I'm going to read you a direct quote. This is in the book.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
She says, being Indian, and Hindu especially, was a source of mockery and bullying from ignorant classmates. They would say things like, do you wear a red dot on your forehead? Do you worship a cow? Are Indian people all hairy? And my teachers did very little to intervene in these hurtful instances. So this is an actual participant from my research that explicitly is saying it shaped her sense of belonging. She experienced peer racism. So there's absolutely harm that's happening, right? Students are experiencing racism at the hands of their peers as well as at the hands of their own teachers. When you know that a child is going through that, I wonder if as a parent, your thought is, I'm going to do whatever I can to guide my kid towards whatever will help alleviate some of that pain.
Right.
One of the other things that came up was, not always, but for a lot of participants, having a Desi community in school actually did help alleviate some of that outsider feeling. So
I
I
get.
don't know that I want to necessarily say that it's across the board wrong to encourage your kid to have Desi friends.
Yeah.
But you're right, if you're doing it at the cost of excluding other kids, then there's a problem for sure.
Absolutely. No, that makes so much sense. I mean, if they're there and they're same, they have common, I mean, they have common conversations, they have common experiences. So typically what happens is they just start sharing. They feel normal. They feel this is not just me. I have someone else who understands me. So it's more about that. But then at the same time, what I've experienced, Punita, in the therapy room, they've started questioning their own existence, and that is the saddest part. Like that is so scary. It's like, why me? The lines that I hear in the therapy room is like, wish I was a white. Wish I just wish I was not forced to put oil in my hair. I don't want to. Um, and then there are the teenager kids, like, there's certain ways, and I'm talking about some of the I think the first generation parents who are here and these kids are the second generation, but the first generation still holds that cultural value. I think the second generation kids go through the worst.
Yeah, they're navigating two identities, right? At home, they're Desi, and then they go to school and they're just trying to figure out how to fit in or how to not feel like an outsider.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of the whole segment where they feel like, okay, we're too Desi for the Americans and we're too Americans for the Desis. So where are we?
Yeah, this is not research based. This is my own lived experience, but I was born in India. We moved here when I was like 5 and a half or something like that. I remember now that I look back, I've really experienced outright overt bullying was during that first year when we moved here. When I did have a thick accent, when I did have a long gut down my back, that's when I felt outsidered the most. I grew up with my parents always telling me never forget your roots. Like it was drilled into me. And I think I also had the added advantage of my family's Sikh, so we always went to Gurdwara, so I had community there. I had, enough family around that I was like, oh, okay, there's people who look like me around. And then most significantly, once we did move to the suburbs, we lived in neighborhoods and I went to school around enough Desis that even if I wasn't hanging out with all Desis, I never felt like such an outsider. And I think that might be like the perfect mix.
Exactly. Yeah. But to arrive to that, I think we take time. We take time to arrive to that. We have to find, I mean, it's a hustle. It's a hustle for us because we have to hustle. We have to make our space. I feel like we have to find that balance. We have to keep everyone kind of, like keep everything balanced. Like
Yeah,
we have
yeah,
to
yeah,
make
yeah.
sure that we go to Gurudwara or we go to temple, we hang around with our people, and then when we are out there, we still have that level of, okay, we're not just stuck to this, we're this as well. So we have to show that variety, like we're able to blend in. I think the word is blending in. But some of the kids, when they don't have the ability to blend in, I think that's when the problem is.
So you're saying you have to find that balance between holding your cultural identity and assimilation.
Absolutely. I think so. Sometimes it comes naturally. Sometimes I think kids do find it difficult. They find it, they just don't say it.
Yeah, it's tough too, depending on where the kids live. So, like, if the demographics of your school, there's not any Desis there, you're going to struggle. There's no one size fits all guidance you can give for families with brown kids. You can't make a rule book that's like that.
I think parents can just show empathy. We're with you and we support you in whatever you choose and do, and just let us know and just open the doors of communication. We trust you. I think that's the only way to go around. I don't know what you think. Like, come to us. Like we will
Yeah.
be here with you.
Yeah, and so when you've got parents of Desi American kids who are managing the stress of that code switching, what are some strategies that parents can use, like real strategies to help manage the stress for their kids? So when you've got a kid who's struggling with code switching, you've already started with number one is empathy. What else
Empathy.
can parents do besides being empathetic to what their kids are going through?
I think take off the pressure. I think that is number one thing. Don't pressure them. Don't pressure them to perform. Don't pressure them to be, okay, go, so what? Sometimes parents is like, it's okay, go, do it. So what? You'll get bullied. So what? You're strong. But sometimes always telling the kids that you're strong, it doesn't help. Sit with them, because what happens is when you keep telling them that you're strong, I think when they're weak, they just can't come out and tell their parents that, hey, you know what, I'm weak. And that is a problem. I think that is a problem.
So what I want to sum up is parents should exercise empathy and parents should reduce pressure on their kids.
Yeah, show empathy, because I think that's the only thing. It's not about, this is what, sometimes parents, and we also went through this. I think that they don't want to hear that.
So they're minimizing rather than empathizing.
Minimizing. Yeah, it's okay. That happens. They usually, don't minimize. Just show empathy. Don't
The
pressure them.
advice is empathize, don't minimize, and take the pressure off.
Take the pressure off. Absolutely. Take the pressure off. Open the doors of communication. You don't have, and the labels. I think something that I don't really enjoy is when parents start giving them labels or start comparing, like, oh, this one is good, this one is bad.
So don't compare.
Don't compare. Don't compare. Like, look at your kids. Look at her daughter. Look at her son. Like, stop comparing, because I think that doesn't take them long way. They're different. They have their own way. They will one day. Parents need to stop comparing. Sometimes they're not intending to compare, but it's always like unintentional way of comparing, the unintentional language that is used at home. So one thing parents could do is just don't tell them do this, do that. Give them a reason why. And when they know the why, they can share it with their friends.
Yeah. So, like, the best thing we can do with South Asian kids, especially if we think we want them to have a connection to their heritage and at the same time be able to, navigate being in American schools, is arm them with knowledge about their backgrounds. Don't send them out into the world unable to, field
Explain.
basic questions.
Yeah, yeah. Because when they have a story, an explanation is not just about giving a one-line explanation. It's about, why we do this. It's so interesting. Like, teach your kids, like, it's so interesting. One of the kids came to my therapy session and they're like, why can't I order my own meal when we go out for dinner? I feel that my parents don't care for me, my choices. I'm like, what happened? It's always like we go out for dinner and we share our meals, but my friends don't share meals. Like, what do you think about that? Like, why is that? Like, we come from a background where I think we believe in sharing is caring. Like, we all sit together. It's more like tapas style. And he goes like, well, but I want to eat this. And my parents say, like, let's order this and we all share. That's our culture. We're not whites. We're Indians. Behave like an Indian. And I couldn't understand, what is behaving like Indian mean? In that moment, I had to like, okay, kindly explain, what does behaving like Indian mean? Giving up your autonomy, giving up your freedom. You are not allowed to set boundaries. You're not allowed to have choices. I understand, like, parents have the regulation. Every parents have it. But this is different. What is behave like Indians? Have you ever felt something like that?
A lot of the things that are rules with my kids aren't things I'd point to and say it's because I'm Indian. I would say those are the things that we value in our family. So I think families can still, whether it's because of culture or otherwise, families can and should still have, this is what we do in our family. So for your client who said, well, my parents never let me order my own meal, that sucks. I feel bad for that kid. But I feel like it's a bit of a cop-out for those parents to be using the excuse of, well, it's because we're Indian, and so we do communal style eating.
This is the language that I'm talking about, Punita. Like, that's those. So it's not intentional. Let me tell you, parents do care for them, right? It's not that they don't want to have their kid eat stuff. So I think it's more about the line that we use. Like, we don't do this in our family versus we're Indians, behave like. So I think the triggering line for me was behave like Indians.
Ugh, yeah.
I think there is also this element of asking the right question and not using the language like behave like Indians. You're actually putting that in your kid's mind that you're different. Now you're planting the seed, like you're different.
And you're planting that seed of associating you're Indian with something the kid is unhappy about. So now you're making a link for that kid of, oh, I'm Indian, therefore life sucks. And that's awful. That's not a desired outcome for the parents either.
And I think that is why the question comes, why am I Indian? Like, wish I wasn't. One of the other things that I've heard is like, you're not pretty and so you can't afford to be dumb. You're not pretty, you can't afford to be dumb.
It's so much pressure. It's so much pressure on kids.
And I wonder, have parents ever seen that side of pressure? It's not just the South Asian kids who go through some sort of pressure. Most kids go through this pressure, right? So I don't know if you have heard everything that's happening in Texas these days. The recent events where they're calling out the immigrants and then Indians, and then I heard a news where it's like the entire Target is flooded with Indians. The entire Walmart is flooded with Indians and we don't want to go to those stores. And I was just reading all of those news and I'm like, how is that impacting the kids? The community needs to understand that we're not just dealing with adults, we're also dealing with little kids from that community who are growing up in that culture, who are trying to do their best. But at the same time, when they see news like this, they would start questioning.
Yeah, I think it's a call to action for all people. What kind of a world do you want to live in? We're a
Yeah.
country of immigrants. That is the basis of the United States. Zohran Mamdani just gave that speech talking about the 4th of July is such a patriotic day, and no one's more of a patriot than someone who was just naturalized. That is the United States of America is. The whole country needs to do better, I think.
Yeah, because I think end of the day, the kids are going to grow up in this community. You and me talking today to make community a better place. It's like everyone have to understand. It's about how we create this community. Everyone is working hard. I think we're doing best that we can. End of the day, we just have to equip our kids. End of the day.
That's it. Empathize, don't minimize, don't compare, don't pressure, and help them love their culture.
Help them love their culture. That's very important. And how, what kind of, I think helping them love their culture is also not pushing the culture on them or putting it a pressure. Don't push. I've seen parents who push their kids, they will reach there. Just give them their time.
Such good advice for parents. If you do see your brown kid is struggling with not wanting to be connected to Desi culture, give them time. Forcing it down their throats isn't going to make them love being Desi.
The more you put on them, they're going to run away from it.
Yeah. So be easy about it, basically.
Be easy, give time, they will.
We have walked away, Pinkal, with so much good, tangible, actionable advice. I'm going to recap, okay? This is Pinkal's 5 pieces of advice for South Asian American families, okay? Number 1, if you've got a South Asian American kid, empathize with what they're going through. Understand what they're going through.
Absolutely.
Number 2, don't minimize what they're struggling with. Number 3, don't compare your kid to someone else's kid. Number 4, don't pressure them. There's already enough existing pressure, society-wide, school-wide, culture-wide. Don't
Yes.
make it worse. And number 5, help them love their culture without forcing it down their throats. Model for them how amazing our culture is, and then let them do it in their own time.
Yes, yes. Because if we can use negative language, we can also use positive language. Immerse them in your culture. They're very smart. Kids today are very smart.
So that's it. So how do you get your kid to love their culture is model it for them without force and be strategic. Be a little sneaky about it. Plant the seeds.
Plant the
I love
seeds.
that. Yeah.
Plant the seeds and slowly keep watering. Slowly nurture. Patience. Wait. You can't just plant a seed and the tree is grown next day. Like,
No. Wait. And it's such a protective factor. So when they do face bullying or they do feel othered or they do feel like an outsider, they have their own connection to their background and their own genuine love of their culture
Yes.
to fall
Yes.
back on. And that's so
Yes.
helpful.
That's so helpful. I think you're doing a great job, Punita, writing that book because that do's and don'ts have explanation in that book.
Ooh, thank you, Pinkal, for joining me here today, for your time, for all that you do for our community and for kids of all backgrounds. And thank you for being a part of Brown Voices.
Thank you. Thank you.
This has been a conversation with Pinkal Panchal for the Brown Voices Project. Subscribe for more.